What is up, everybody? This is Pinstripe Chronicles, brought to you by Northeast Streaming Sports on Roku and Facebook Live. We have a fun show for you today. As always, we have our leader here, Tats, who created this great channel. We have Rob, like CC Sabathia, always bringing the dubs in the fire. This is Donald. And I've got my man, Alex, here, who's a co-host of mine on Big Blue in the Bronx, from Big Blue in the Bronx. He does the Boys in the Big Apple with me, and he makes up half of the Twin Bill podcast from NYY News TV. So shout out to Pete Simonetti, of course, who created great NYY News TV. So how are you doing, Alex?
Everything but the Yankees is going good. Obviously, the Giants played their preseason game today, so I'm a little excited about that. But the Yankees, they're not doing well. They're 2-11, I think, since the All-Star break, or even actually no, they're 2-11 against like legit good teams. They played the Astros twice. They've played Seattle 6 times. They played the Cardinals 3 times, and they've played the Mets, I think, twice. So with that being said, they are 2-11 against those teams. That's not very good. And it's not, players underperforming or stuff like that. It's their own mismanagement, not calling up Marinaccio, trying to do all this crap with the service time, not calling up Peraza. IKF's been terrible. Using Abreu after, the depleted bullpen in extra innings. It's just horrible. I think it's their own fault. And they got to wake up sometime soon. And I've been telling people, you could crap on Boston and all that stuff, but they may use us as a rebound, despite how their trade deadline goes, or I should say, despite how their trade deadline went. So it could also be a rebound for us, but they have to show me first.
Well, exactly. So, yeah, we're 1-7. We're 19-23. What would you most attribute to these struggles?
Well, to be fair, this past series, the starting pitching was actually good. Last series, I guess also, actually, now that I think about it, last game was like scoring runs left and right. Abreu actually had the loss on the Montas start. So bullpen, once again, attribute to that. Just a collection overall of sometimes it's a starting pitching, like also when Cole had that 6-run first inning, I think it was, against Seattle. That was not ideal. But overall, man, it's just been the Yankees' mismanagement. Hitters not coming up in situations. Benintendi batting like 9th and 4th and 5th and 6th. It's been unreal the way they've been putting him in positions to fail. And we acquired him to be a 1 guy, a 2 guy, whatever. And he hasn't been able to succeed because he's not put in the right position. And overall, I was still shouting it from the mountains. Even if they acquired Benintendi, even if they acquired another batter, something like that, IKF and Josh Donaldson are still problems. And the same thing with Aaron Hicks as well.
Rob?
Yeah, look, yesterday I was very upset why they sat Benintendi because he was finally hitting. He had a really good road trip, and they sat him with the day off today, which I hate when they do that. When a player gets hot, but something that we've been talking about for a year and a half, 2 years basically of doing the show, is they don't believe in hot streaks. So the fact that they sat Benintendi yesterday bothered me. And the whole IKF thing, you have some reporters like Brandon Cootie, whatever his name is, saying that you can't replace IKF because he has contact. But if you just look at his stat sheet, go on Fangraphs, and you can see that his contact is not very good. He's a singles hitter. He's got medium exit velocity at best. He's not a hard hit guy. He's not a soft contact guy, but he hits into a lot of double plays, hits the ball on the ground a lot. I don't hate him. I think there's a spot for him on the roster. I'm not one of those people that say he has to go, but he should not be starting over Oswald Peraza right now. There's no reason you have him as your shortstop every single day, or Marwin Gonzalez every 2 weeks as your shortstop when Peraza's rotting over there in AAA. You have him, you have Clark Schmidt, you have Marinaccio, you have Florial. That are 4 guys that can probably help you right now over 4 guys you have coming in big spots or playing every single day. And they don't want to do it. Service time manipulation is one of the worst things in baseball, but the Yankees are a team that takes advantage of it so much. I don't like it. The Braves, it was going around Twitter yesterday, they called up a guy from Double-A. From Double-A. He skipped over AAA, and he hit a home run his first game. They don't care because they think he can provide a spark. Let's try it out. What is IKF doing that makes you want to keep him in the lineup every day? You want to have him play every so often at third or short or second? Fine. He can provide something off the bench as a speed guy, contact hitter, whatever it may be. But you have Peraza, who is showing you right now that he is ready, and he's been ready for a little while now, and they don't want to do it. They don't want to call him up. Why not? Why not see what Florial can give you? Because we know what Andujar is at this point. He's just another IKF. He's a singles hitter. He's not that doubles guy from 2018 because they screwed around with him post-injury, so they never really gave him a shot. That's what he is now. But they don't want to give these guys opportunities, and that's what's bothering me because they're better than this. This is not – I'm not saying the season's over now. A lot of people are jumping off the cliff saying they give up. There's no shot we're winning anything. They have a chance with the next month and a half to try out some of these guys they have that they know can produce. 3 of the guys that I've just mentioned have already come up at times and produced. Florial last year. Marinaccio was our best reliever for a while. And Clark Schmidt was really good out of the bullpen. Why not use him? At least with Florial, it's just – or I'm sorry, with Peraza, it's let's hope that he can provide a spark. But these other 3 guys, you know what they can do at the major league level. Give it a shot. Let's see what happens because we need the help.
Rob, you're bringing the fire today, man. Okay, Taz, what are you thinking?
No, I'm in line with Rob. The whole thing with the Braves calling up their prospect. All right, they had just dropped 4 out of 5 to the Mets, and there was a sense of urgency. And this is a defending World Series champion team. There's no pressure on them. There's no pressure to repeat from the. Obviously the fans want them to, but the monkey's off their back to get to the World Series. So. There was a sense of urgency going, you know what? We have an opportunity to make an impact in a postseason and still in line to get the division. So the sense of urgency from the Braves should, the Yankees should mirror that and stop, with this manipulation of the service time, their Cashman's stubbornness to not want to say I made a mistake and keep putting these players in the lineup that don't belong there. IKF, he could be a serviceable bench option, but he is not an everyday player.
I agree with that.
If you really want to show that you are the Yankees and you want to flex like they were doing in the beginning of the year, that's what's making this so frustrating. Is we saw them peak so early that. Is the run over this year? And can they still rebound? Absolutely. But they need to start taking the season seriously and leaving Peraza down there, not sending Marinaccio down because of options is not a winning mentality. And that's where the frustration, I think, is the deepest within the fan base.
I just want to repeat what Alex's brother Luca, who's his co-host on Twin Bill, he said this isn't a meritocracy with the Yankees, and I have to agree with him completely. The Yankees don't act like it's a meritocracy. Just look at Joey Gallo, played every single goddamn day, and he was batting 150, right? Now look at Donaldson, he plays every single day. Aaron Hicks plays every single day. You've not brought up anybody from AAA. And Duhar was actually killing it before. And then they sent him down, even though his metrics were much better than Aaron Hicks and Joey Gallo at the time, but they sent him down. Now you're looking at Marinaccio being sent down, despite being a high leverage reliever for us. He gets sent down, and now we're dealing with Abreu. Because Brian Cashman needs to just continue to prove that he's the smartest guy in the room. It seems the continual ego boost for him, because there's nothing in it for him to keep up Marinaccio and Clark Schmidt. But he's got investment in Abreu because, hey, look at him. I'm the smartest guy in the room. I traded away Abreu. I got him back. He's been DFI'd multiple times, but I got him back, and he's got a 2.70 ERA for us now. So look at me. I'm smart. I'm going to keep using Abreu in these high leverage spots, whether you like it or not. So, and now the most glaring example is IKF. Brian Cashman was, oh, my God, he was ringing his endorsements there even this last week. Mm-hmm. IKF's metrics are horrifying. If you look at Baseball Savant, his home metrics are ridiculously bad, right? But you got Peraza who's killing it in AAA. We already knew that Peraza's defense was major league ready going into spring training, okay? So if he's already major league ready defensively, that's all we really need from IKF, but IKF isn't even giving you that. So why wouldn't you call up Peraza? IKF he can't even hit the ball to like shallow center, let alone like drive a home run or hit doubles and stuff. He's not providing you any pop whatsoever. So even a couple of doubles from Peraza is an upgrade over IKF. There's really no excuse not to give Peraza a chance. But again, Brian Cashman has to prove that he's the smartest guy in the room because he invested $50 million in Josh Donaldson, IKF, and he traded away Gio Urshela. That's my belief. I really do believe that this is a meritocracy.
It's a shame when you think about it because, like, you just talking about IKF again, he has a 1.8% barrel percentage. He's barely barreling the ball up. Out of like 260 events that he can have a barrel, he has 2 barrels. He's not even hitting the ball that hard. He's a ground ball hitter, 52% ground ball percentage. He hits it on the ground. He's got speed. That's not a starter. You know, like that right now, he's not providing you anything, especially with Stanton out. We just lost Carpenter. We're looking for answers in the offense, and you're telling me that Josh Donaldson's your 4th hitter. You know, why Bennett? I don't know why Benintendi sat again yesterday. I don't know why that is.
Oh, I don't know.
But you have 2 guys. Gleyber Torres is struggling. Donaldson had a good week. Oh, whoop-de-doo. And he's back to doing nothing again right after that. So he's back. So you're not getting anything from these guys you're supposed to be getting stuff from. You can't win games when your lineup is 2 guys. It's LeMahieu and Judge right now because Rizzo's just coming back from the back issue, and you're seeing it. He's going to take a little bit of time to get back into everyday form. Why not try something different? Try it out. Florial can give you speed, and he's got pop in AAA right now. We can use some of that from the left side of the plate. And he could play center field because Aaron Hicks ain't doing anything besides drawing walks again. Donaldson shouldn't be playing, but IKF is not doing anything either. Peraza, even if he hits 1 over the wall, that's more than IKF has because he has not hit a home run yet. So
exactly my
try
point.
something different. Just try
Alex,
it out.
What are you thinking, brother? What are you thinking, brother?
Yeah, you guys were pointing to the Braves situation. I point to another situation. The Astros lost Carlos Correa. What did they do? They called him Jeremy Pena. Jeremy Pena made his debut this year. He's hitting 243, 50 home runs. I forget how many RBIs. But that just shows you, and they're a smaller market. They have less money than the New York Yankees. But it just shows you, you know, what their priorities are. It's not about money. Yeah. It's about getting the best guys up in the big leagues. Brian Cashman obviously puts money first and, you know, what he invests in first. And it's just sad overall. It really is. I think that's pretty much what I have to say about that. I actually lost the train of thought.
Tats, what are you thinking, man?
No, I think when Cashman took over from Gene Michael, all right, let's go back to the beginning of him. Cashman.
Back in time.
This
is Tats' era. Our year too.
He was on a road where it was just paved in gold. He had that dynasty. He had the players. They were coming off of all the World Series, and he has tried traveling down so many roads to regain that glory. He forgot where the team came from. And he forgot what the Yankees actually represent. And that's championship caliber teams. Not, well, we made the postseason, so it was a successful year. Well, we won 100 games. Wow, we did great. No, you didn't. Because if you're not in the World Series, it was not a great season. Not on our level, not the way we look at it. World Series or bust. That's the thing every year. And now, you know, and they don't care about that anymore. It's like, all right, how much money can we get? How many chicken buckets can we sell? You know, enough's enough. Enough's enough. World Series or bust.
It's just bust. So I don't believe IKF is capable of winning us a championship as our starting shortstop because I'm just going through it. As Rob points out, he's in the 1 percentile in barrel percentage. That's absolutely stupendously bad. Outs above average, 14%, awful. 10% exit velocity, 9% slugging, 5% hard hit percentage. This guy doesn't hit the ball. He just doesn't hit the ball hard at all. Like, honestly, a little squibbler is hard for him. So, and then your outs above average is only 14%, which is awful. And that includes defense, and his defense hasn't been there. So his metrics aren't good offensively or defensively. There's no argument why Peraza shouldn't be called up. And why are they tied to Marvin Gonzalez. He's not done anything. I like Marvin Gonzalez, but he's not done anything.
He's not even playing. Neither is Litke. If you want to bring it to the bullpen real quick, where's Lucas Litke been? Why wasn't he pitching the other day when in the 4 or 5 run lead instead of Clay Holmes? That's a Litke performance right there. That's a Litke game. They don't use him, but he's still there while Marinaccio in AAA, right? Marvin Gonzalez is on the bench while Oswald Peraza's in AAA. They don't use these guys, and they're taking up roster spots. Are they waiting for September? That's very stupid because you only get 2 spots. You can get those guys up right now and have a whole month and a half of playing time for these guys. Better players than what we have right now sitting on the bench. Litke's not pitching. Gonzalez is not playing. Stop wasting these young players that you don't want to trade. Stop wasting them in AAA.
Man, Rob is living up to that name I gave him this morning. I can see he's pissed. I love it. Okay, so it was sorry. This has been a pathetic series, right, against Seattle.
Yeah.
Alex, what did you think about putting Abreu in the 7th inning? Let's get back to the game yesterday. Abreu, 7th inning. What were your original thoughts? Did you think this was a mistake at the time, even before he gave up the game-winning home run?
Well, to be fair, I just kind of had the feel that they were going to blow it. And they put Abreu in. Santana was up. He was the one who hit the home run. And it didn't surprise me one bit. He actually got the loss on, was it Sunday against the Cardinals? He's just not very good of recently. And, you know, Tats was mentioning, well, basically nobody wanted to pick this guy up. And the Yankees ended up trading him, and they got him back. Brian Cashman sees that as a win, I guess. But the fact that we have so many relievers in the minor leagues that are major league ready, but we keep Abreu. We called up Shane Green that one time. That was horrible. Yes, nostalgia, but that was just horrible. The game was over, just like it was yesterday when Abreu gave up that home run. You know, you got Weissert who threw that nasty looking, I think it was a curveball against the Pirates in the spring training game. You know, that went viral a little bit. So Weissert's ready. Marinaccio's ready. There's a couple other guys that are ready down there, and they just plan to stick with their guys. And going back to what y'all were saying on Lucas Lidge, I mean, if they're not going to use him, what's the point of having him?
Tats?
No, where Licky has been, I don't know. I don't remember the last game he even pitched in. You know, and you know, to the point that was made, when you have you have a 5-run lead and you're bringing in Holmes, no. That was Licky's lane. That's what he's there for, because you get through that inning, you could probably get 2 innings out of him. The bullpen was taxed from the 13-inning game, even though they all pitched an inning each. You know, now you're overextending your bullpen, wasting what we said in the beginning is probably some of the better starting pitching we've seen in the last month. You know, where you had 3 straight outings where your starting pitches were just zoned, they were locked in. And you just pretty much, the way you wanted to manage the lineup in the bullpen, go, you know what, we're not worried, we know better than everybody else. It's not reading the room. They're not reading the room at all. So they went back, they're reverting back to so many bad habits from the last couple of years that nothing makes sense anymore. And they can't figure them, they can't figure themselves out. They can't dig themselves out of this hole, because they're too busy keeping their heads in the book.
Now, I haven't talked to Rob or Alex yet about the meltdown on the base paths and extra innings. I want to get both of your thoughts on that.
You want to take this first, Alex?
Yeah, I will. I mean, this whole period of struggling, let alone that night, was a microcosm of the 2021 season. Bad base running. How many times have we seen that? Whether you could blame it on Phil Nevin or not. And the double play, there was another one, I think Benintendi was thrown out on the base pass. And then IKF, I mean, I don't know what he was trying to do. Obviously, that was the ground ball to the pitcher, and Trevi was out on the base pass. Then IKF trying to go out of the way, he went like this. I mean, I had no idea what he was doing there. What was he trying to do? What was that? But they're reverting back to 2021. And something I think we should also get to, Gleyber Torres has been a different player, and that's bad in this half. I think
Yeah,
he's
not
going
good.
back to his head case self. He's hitting like 200, even below 200 in the last few games, and his at bats aren't good. He's a head case. He's reverting back to his 2021 self, which was not like his first half self. So I'm sorry, I'm off the Glaber train again. But overall, the thing with the base running, it was terrible, and we need somebody to go in there and kick their butts because obviously we don't
Boone isn't doing it.
we still don't have a tough mentality. It just seems.
No, I agree. Little laissez-faire from Aaron Boone. Rob?
Yeah, it's 2021 all over again when you think about the base running mistakes, the double plays we're hitting into, blowing leads late in the game. Glaber Torres, struggling. I mean, I'm looking at his numbers right now. Over his last 15 games, he's hitting hitting 180 with a 206 on base. So he's not hitting. And if you want to go back even further, his on base percentage over his last 30 is 294. So
that's terrible.
He's not doing what he was doing in the first half. So you're looking at him struggling. Josh Donaldson's been a year-long struggle. We're talking about the offense again. They have too many guys that are easy to automatic outs right now. And that's never a good thing. When your 9-man lineup is 7 guys that are easy to get through, that's a problem. Now, I think at full strength that'll change, but again, we're seeing too much of 2021. The whole base running thing with IKF looking like he flopped in a basketball game, that is basically the symbol. That's the symbol of the Yankees' second half, or really going back to after that first Houston series. That's what the team has been. They've been making these mistakes. They've been blowing these games late. The pitching's been on and off. The offense has been either really good or non-existent. We're actually one of the better offenses post All-Star break in terms of overall numbers, which is crazy to think because when you look at the series, you never would have guessed that. But we're not hitting. You can't lose a 13-inning game 1-0. You just can't. I know Castillo shut us down, but you wasted a great start by Garrett Cole. Yesterday, you wasted a near no-hitter by Nestor Cortez. We got a near no-hitter by Nestor Cortez, and we couldn't score. I know it was Robbie Ray, but the guy hasn't been nearly as good this year as he was last year, and we couldn't put a single run on the board until after they scored. And then we get the 2-run home run from Higashioka, of all people. And then Aaron Judge hits his 45th home run of the season. That right there is like, we're going to win this game, right? Because first half Yankees, that's a win. We're like, oh, that now they're riding the momentum. They got the W. And then they blow it right after. Why Nestor came back out there, I don't know why. He did his job. He gave you 6 one-run ball against a really good Mariners team. You take that and you go to your bullpen. Like, why couldn't you use guys for a second day in a row? I don't get it. Why you go to Abreu right there? And I like Abreu, but it goes back to the conversation before. Cashman has to be smarter than everybody. Hey, I gave this guy up. He was going to be DFA'd. I got an all-star catcher for him, and I got him back for nothing. I'm smarter than you. Well, no, you're not, because you're letting all these guys rot in Scranton that could be helping you right now. We can see through the BS of Brian Cashman, and I don't think a lot of this is on Aaron Boone because a lot of people are starting to sour on him. He's just dealing with what he's been given. Yeah. If the front office doesn't want to call up some of these guys, he can't. What's he going to do? He can't start Peraza on his own merit. He's in AAA right now. They have to call him up. So it's obviously a service time thing, and it's this whole problem.
Rob, we went 19 innings without scoring a single run. From the 13-inning game, and then we were into the 7th inning before we actually managed to get on the scoreboard. 19 innings without a single run.
And tell me IKF isn't replaceable. Come on.
Exactly. And the base running, I mean, it kind of was like watching the Big Bad News Bears, or it was like, if you watch Little League and you got a little kid who's like doesn't know anything about baseball and he's the last name on the bench and you just want to throw him in as a pinch runner just to make it look like he's involved, and he doesn't know anything about the game, doesn't know anything where he is, and he's just kind of running around in a circle. He's kind of running around in a circle, and he's chasing after his own hat. That was basically what the Yankees were doing. It was absolutely mayhem. I've never seen anything like it. You know what was the most egregious? We didn't see Aaron Judge. We only had 1 plate appearances in the entire extra innings because they kept basically getting themselves thrown out for no apparent reason. I've never seen multiple two batter innings before. That's never happened before. And you know what was the most concerning? Aaron Boone didn't seem all that bothered about it. I don't know. He didn't seem all that concerned. He was just sort of like, oh, well, we'll figure it out. So this brings me to my last question in the last 5 minutes. I was listening to Brandon Tierney's show. He was pissed. He says it's the most pathetic. That 13-inning game is the most pathetic game he's ever seen from the Yankees. He's been watching them since the 70s.
I think we all agree.
Yeah, I was really pissed yesterday, as Tats can testify. What they were pointing out is that Buck Showalter has really made an impression on the Mets. You can name multiple occasions where he's helped them win a game. Can you say that about this Yankee team?
There's a perfect representation of the Yankees second half. Whatever that was, just fell down there. But no, it was embarrassing. This team's embarrassing right now. But I don't think it's the end of the world. I do think we're going to turn it around. It's just the sky is kind of falling a little bit, but not completely. That's how I'll say it. But it's everyone has a right to be pissed, though. We have a right to be pissed. That's what we do as fans. We're very wavy with our emotions.
Yeah, you have such a big lead in a division, and you're getting into the stretch, and you're relaxed with the lead because at least you know when you do hit that little bit of a wall in the season, like teams do, it's not going to bury you in the standings. You know, you're not going to lose too much ground. You know, the fact that we still have a double-digit lead, I think, is insane. Because I would have thought it – because my thing was, as long as it stayed in the double digits, I wasn't going to panic too much. Because, you know, but at the same time, the way they're playing, we have so many games left with the AL East because we got Boston coming up. We still have Tampa. So, you know, it could swing very quick if they keep playing the way they are. And that's going to fall on Boone. Boone has to grab this team by the balls again, and you go, look, shape up where you're going to ship out. You know, one of the best things I ever heard is from a manager was Terry Collins. Either you hit or you sit. You know, when he had that mantra with the Mets, you know, when he was managing, and I'm like, you know, there's a guy that's taking it seriously. You know, as much as, you know, as Yankee fans, we always used to laugh at him. That actually, I think, is probably one of the best, you know, pep talks you can give somebody. If you're not contributing, you're not going to be on the lineup.
Alex?
Well,
yeah. I think this team will still keep the division lead. There's no worries there. They have a tough schedule coming up. The Mets, the Red Sox, Blue Jays, the Rays. So they're facing 3 divisional rivals in a row. Obviously, I have the hope that they'll keep the division lead only because of their first half. If it wasn't for the first half, we'd be talking about the division lead going kaput. They have 10 games right now. I think the bigger concern and why everybody's concerned, and they have right to be concerned, is because the Astros are now the best team in the American League. And they've been playing like that for a little while now. It was just the record that was keeping it away, and a lot of people trying to pom-pom the Yankees as the best team. They're not. The Astros are the best team. It's clear. It's obvious. They have better optics. And the reason I'm concerned about that, of course, is the first seed. I don't want to be going, ALCS, Houston, Game 7 in Houston. Nobody wants that. If it's a Game 7, it has to be in Yankee Stadium.
Well, let's just wrap things up. Alex, could you tell the viewers where they can find you on your channel? Who's killing it, by the way? Big Blue in the Bronx is killing it.
Thank you. Obviously, you can find me and my brother Luca, Twin Bill Podcast, live every Wednesday. Of course, it alternates because sometimes there's a day game, so we'll go at night. And then when there's night games, we'll go during the day around 12. Boys and Big Apple Podcast with Donald, myself, and my brother, 8:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Monday. And then Big Blue in the Bronx podcast is returning for football season, so that's going to be on Tuesdays and Saturdays at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Thank you so much, man. Well, it's been a pleasure again to provide some more Yankee content for Northeast Streaming Sports. I want to shout out to everyone there on Roku and Facebook Live and our viewers as well. Thank you so much for your loyalty and checking out the child. Please like and subscribe to all podcasts that we've mentioned from Alex and myself. Play your pinstripes with pride and play hard.